On tonight's Newswatch, we have an important update in the continuing Dakota Access Pipeline protests.
And we also share news on life, the economy, post-Donald Trump victory.
And on tonight's Newswatch Sports Report, we have Cyclone football, men's basketball, and a live preview of women's basketball here at Helton.
And in weather, I'll let you know if we're going to be seeing snow by the end of the week. Stay tuned. Newswatch starts now.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
Thank you for stopping by ISU TV's Newswatch. I'm Taylor Mankle.
And I'm Lisa Greenwood. Thank you for joining us.
Southwest Airlines confirmed this afternoon that one of its employees was killed in a shooting outside of the Will Rogers World Airport in Oklahoma City. Police officers arrived at the Oklahoma airport around 3 this afternoon after reports of gunshots in a parking lot started coming in. The victim, 51-year-old Michael Winchester, was an employee of Southwest and was reported dead at the scene of the crime. Will Rogers Airport is still currently under lockdown as police are searching for suspects around the airport grounds. It is unclear if the shooter and victim knew each other, but police say they have some basic information on who the suspect might be.
Yesterday, Justin Ross Harris of Cobb County, Georgia, was found guilty of murder in the death of his 22-month-old son, Cooper Harris. In 2014, Justin Harris buckled his son into the car seat and instead of dropping him off at daycare, left him in the back seat for 7 hours as he went to work. The same day, Harris was also sending inappropriate messages with 6 women, including 2 minors. Harris was charged with 3 counts of murder, 2 counts of cruelty to children, 3 counts relating to the exchanges with the minors, and found guilty for all of them.
The Army Corps of Engineers were forced into an evaluative state due to the success of the protests of the Dakota Access Pipeline, primarily taking place at the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. Yesterday, the Corps announced it finished the review of the Dakota Access Pipeline, but wants to do some more studying and include more tribal input before they decide to drill underneath the Missouri River. The pipeline company claims it would complete construction within 120 days of the approval from the federal government. Protesters have given a halt to this momentum, but at a price. Over 470 water protectors have been arrested thus far, and more continue to gather each day. With a now more open communication model from the Corps of Engineers, this standstill may begin to mold results.
Pamela Ramsey Taylor, director of a West Virginia development group, lost her job after making a racist Facebook post about Michelle Obama, referring to her as an ape in heels. The Clay County Mayor, Beverly Whaling, responded to the post saying, quote, "Just made my day, Pam." This evening, Whaling resigned from her position as mayor. It is not clear whether she officially resigned or was terminated, but she is not working for the county anymore.
President-elect Donald Trump has released a tentative 200-day plan in preparation of him taking office in January. While Trump has been criticized as of late over his dialing back of many promises he made on the campaign trail, one promise remains set in stone, that being the crackdown on NAFTA. The plan suggests Trump will start reform on his first day in office. Other highlights from the strategy include targeting China by his 100th day in office and a consideration of total formal withdrawal of NAFTA by day 200.
Since the election, organizations such as Planned Parenthood and the American Civil Liberties Union have received an outstanding amount of support and donations. Planned Parenthood received over 80,000 donations, with many being under the name of Vice President-elect Mike Pence as a way of speaking out against controversial legislation he has passed. Planned Parenthood President Cecil Richards says they have seen an unprecedented outpouring of support since the election. ACLU has also seen a flood of over 120,000 donations totaling over $7.2 million. Their website crashed due to a 7,000% increase in contributions.
President Barack Obama will touch down in Berlin, Germany for the last time as president on Wednesday. He will bid a farewell to one of the closest international confidants he has had in these last 8 years in German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Merkel and Obama have been close since the 2008 election, when Germans were excited to get a more communicative president than previous Commander-in-Chief George W. Bush. While there was some animosity during the NSA scandal, Merkel and the German government still hold Obama in high regards. One of his main responsibilities on this trip is to ease the minds of many German politicians as they worry for the future under new President-elect Donald Trump.
Although President-elect Donald Trump won the election, he's about to lose the Trump name that adorns 3 of New York's biggest high-rises. The 3 buildings, addressed at 140, 160, and 180 Riverside Boulevard, will be renamed sometime this week to their exact addresses. The removal of the Trump branding was initiated by groups of residents that live in within the buildings. The group's petition, which started back in August, made its way through the 1,300 apartments, gaining enough signatures to warrant the building's overall disapproval for the name.
United Airlines will soon release a class of seating lower than economy. Basic economy will come out as early as next year and is a response to competitors like Delta and American converting to do the same in order to compete with lower air carriers like Spirit and Frontier. The difference between these basic economy and normal economy seats will most likely limit the passengers to one small carry-on bag to go under the seat in front of them, and charges may be placed to use the overhead bins. Stay put. We'll have more local news and Ames news along with Iowa news right after the break. This is Newswatch at 8. Welcome back to Newswatch. About 3 weeks ago, several white supremacy posters were found on Iowa State campus. Today, additional posters were found. One poster found outside the Student Services Center featured 2 white parents and a baby. The poster read, "In these times of degeneracy, this is true rebellion." Posters similar to these have been spotted at other various college campuses such as the University of Iowa and the University of Michigan.
Police and firefighters of Ames have announced the death of one person in an Ames house fire that erupted earlier this morning. 72-year-old Joanna Alexander was trapped within her home around 10 a.m. on Orchard Drive. Fire crew rescued her from inside the burning home and proceeded to send her to Mary Greenlee for treatment when, unfortunately, she passed from her injuries. The state fire marshal is investigating the cause of the fire, but early reports are suggesting an accidental burn in the living room.
The American Indian Studies program and Multicultural Student Affairs at Iowa State have put together some special screenings of Native films to help celebrate Indigenous Heritage Month. The films will be all Native productions showing anything from tribal legends to historically accurate accounts of genocide. The first film was last week when they played Winter in the Blood. Tonight's feature film is Rhymes with Young Ghouls, and the 29th film will be Lost Nation, the Iowa. All of these are free admission and in Curtis 101 at 7 p.m.
Des Moines police released new photos of suspects in a string of ATM skimming incidents around the metro this past month. ATM skimming is the process of capturing credit card and debit card data from the magnetic strip on the back of the cards without the user knowing. DSM police said the persons in the photographs are suspected of installing card skimming devices in machines at the Hy-Vee Grocery on Post Road and the E-Bank on Southwest 9th Street. If you or anyone you know have information on the suspects, Des Moines police are asking you to call their Special Assignment Division at 515-283-4821 or the Crime Stoppers of Central Iowa at 515-223-1400.
The Riemann Gardens hosted their monthly Brown Bag Lecture. Courtney Dust has more on the story.
The Raymond Gardens hosted their monthly Brown Bag Lecture. These lectures are held once every second Friday of the month. These lectures are a place for people to bring their own lunches and sit in on a guest speaker to talk about different topics regarding crafts, gardening, and so much more. Education Manager for the Raymond Gardens, Sarah Merritt, organizes these events.
So each year we employ a different theme at Ryman Gardens that kind of ties or displays our programs and our events all together. And the theme for this year was color. So we think about what kind of programs are nature-based, what's going on at Iowa State that really incorporates color, what are we doing here that talks about color, and then we sort of think about who are the different experts or faculty or presenters or businesses that might be related to that theme that could come and talk that people would be interested in.
This particular lecture was on do-it-yourself holiday decorating, and they do this lecture every November for the holiday season.
By February or March, we know the whole year's schedule. So they go out in our e-news, they go to our membership, they get published on our website, and they go through all the other channels that we use for media.
To find out more about these lectures, go to www.raymondgardens.com/events. With ISU TV, I'm Courtney Dust.
Iowa State's student government plans on hosting a town hall meeting to address racist and unacceptable acts targeted at students. The main goal of this meeting is to move toward a more inclusive campus at Iowa State. Student Government President Cole Stout said in a statement that the intent of the forum is to facilitate meaningful discussion between students and the student government. Iowa State administrators will be present for the forum, which will take place at 7 p.m. on November 29th in the Sunroom at the Memorial Union.
Iowa State's engineering program will give back to a local community in Louisiana this Thanksgiving. ISU TV has more on the story.
The AGC Club, Associated General Contractors, does more than just win awards for Iowa State's impressive engineering program. The student chapter also gives back to the community.
We are making a trip down to Louisiana. It's in the Baton Rouge and New Orleans area to do disaster relief.
Each week-long break in the semester, AGC members travel to do service work somewhere in the country. Last spring break, they traveled to Oklahoma to roof and build houses. This year, the club will travel to Baton Rouge, Louisiana during their Thanksgiving break to give their time to those in need.
This trip, it is mainly interior work. We'll do some cabinet installation and demolition, do some drywall work, do, I think, some flooring.
The AGC Club is made up of more than just construction engineering students. All engineering majors are welcome to join in on the fun and service that comes with being a member of the club.
We do have a couple non-county majors that participate in the clubs, and seems like they always have just as good a time as us, and if not a better time. And
40 members will travel to Louisiana Thursday and arrive back in Iowa on Wednesday, November 23rd.
The Iowa State Patrol is investigating a fatal crash that occurred on Interstate 35 on Tuesday morning. Rescue crews were called to mile marker 120 in the South Bend lanes of 135 at around 8:15 a.m., where Chevy Suburban was involved in a rollover crash. According to troopers, one person was killed and at least 2 others were treated for non-fatal injuries. Well, Taylor, thankfully we don't have to have ice or snow on the ground. These to make the roads even worse.
You're absolutely right. It's been beautiful weather out here for November, believe it or not. We've got Jan Ryherd to tell us all about it. Jan?
Yep, that's right, and those temperatures are cooling off right now, but we are looking at chances for snow by the end of the week. I'll have your full forecast after the break. Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm meteorologist Jan Ryherd. Today, we had a pretty comfortable day out there for November. Highs reaching up to 68 here in Ames and Des Moines. Right now, though, we are cooling off 54. There's a cold front moving across the state right now, so those winds switching to out of the north-northwest. And like I said, cooling down into the 40s to the north of us right now. So definitely going to be feeling that cold front as it starts to swing across the state. And here you can see those winds coming out of the northwest as that cold front passes over us. Right now, though, we do have a few clouds, but those are going to be moving off as we go into the evening, leaving us with clear skies for the night. So it's definitely going to be cooling off with those clear skies, no clouds keeping that heat in. Here's that cold front, though, that I was talking about. So moving off into tomorrow morning, clear skies for our Wednesday, so lots of sunshine. And then we've got a warm front that's going to start moving across Wednesday night and into Thursday, and leaving us with warm temperatures for our Thursday behind that warm front. But then here we've got cold front number 2 coming across, and that's really going to knock our temperatures down come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're looking at highs getting only into the 50s, maybe even 40s then. So lows tonight will be getting down into the upper 30s, so not quite freezing, but up to the north, definitely feeling that chill starting to move in. Highs tomorrow into the upper 60s, mid 60s, depending on where you're at across the state. And then going into Thursday, like I said, that's when that warm front is going to be impacting us. And so that's the warmest day that we're going to see this week, 75 for a high in Des Moines on Thursday. Tonight, though, for Ames, we'll see 37 for our low. Nice clear night. And then tomorrow, lots of sunshine, a high of 66, but definitely windy with those winds out of the south bringing in that warm air. So you'll definitely notice that as you're walking across campus. Taking a look at the next 7 days, though, here we've got that warm day on Thursday, and then we've got a chance for some rain on Friday, looking like just rain for us here in central Iowa. As you go to the north, if you're heading back to the cities for Thanksgiving break, you have a much better chance for snow, so definitely keep an eye on that as we get closer to it. And then knocking our temperatures down into the 40s as we get into the weekend, so November is coming. Those temperatures are definitely going to start feeling much more like winter. Stay tuned, there'll be more news after the break.
Hi and welcome back from the break. I'm Maria Lisignoli with your Cyclone Sports Report. The Cyclones came home with their first Big 12 Conference win of the season against the Kansas Jayhawks this past Saturday. Although many Cyclone fans were worried when they were down by 7 at halftime, the team pulled through and came out on top with a winning score of 31-24. For Iowa State, Jacob Park continued his start, finishing the game with 205 yards of passing and 2 touchdowns. The benefactor of Park's day was undoubtedly Alan Lazard, who had a career-high 120 yards and a touchdown on 10 receptions. Coming up this Saturday, Iowa State hosts a game against Texas Tech. The game is at 2:30 p.m. here at Jack Trice Stadium. The Iowa State men's cross-country team finished in 4th place at a regional meet last Friday in Iowa City. This means that the men's team will be going to the NCAA Cross-Country Championship. Unlike other meets this season, which were 8 kilometers, the regional meet was 10 kilometers. And for many, this was their first 10K race. Freshman runner Pollard led the way and finished 9th overall. Hoyos, a senior, and Andrews, a sophomore, finished in 19th and 21st place respectively. This year's national meet will be this Saturday in Terre Haute, Indiana. The Iowa State men's basketball faced off against the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers yesterday in their second regular game of the season. Not only was this a great night for some Hilton Magic, but the game also served to pay a small tribute to the late Bryce DeJean-Jones, who died this past year while pursuing his dream of playing in the NBA. With highlights and more on the Cyclones' win, Paul Haddish has the story.
Huh? No, I'm okay. The 20th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones have been ranked now for 53 consecutive weeks, and they would host the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers at home for the second game of the season. You see there Monte Morris, the Cyclones would wear warm-ups in memory of Bryce DeJean-Jones, but the big story of the night is Naz Long facing off against his brother Eli Long. Eli Long for the Mountaineers is averaging 16 points this season as a sophomore. Monte Morris would get it started off for the Cyclones with a deep jumper that would go down as a 2. But Naz Long would struggle tonight, going 2 for 10 from the field and only 1 for 4 beyond the arc. On the other hand, his brother Eli Long would put up 19 points for the Mountaineers. Matt Thomas knocking down his only 3-pointer of the night. He would go 1 for 5 beyond the arc. However, he would score 13 points. Solomon Young on the putback for the Cyclones and the and one. He would complete the 3-point play, and it would be his only points of the night. Steve Prohm looking on at his Cyclones get it done at home. Monte Morris on the drive here would hit the deck hard. Thankfully, he would be able to get back up and walk this one off. Monte led the Cyclones in scoring tonight with 18 points. Just before the half, Donovan Jackson would lob it up to Deontay Burton, who would throw it down with 2 hands. And yeah, the bench is loving it here. Stu Neslick raising the roof. The Cyclones would lead 39-22 at half. However, there was a look of frustration on their faces as they dropped 113 points last game, but only had 39 here at the half. Coming out for the second half, though, they would get it done on offense. Deontay Burton with a fadeaway jumper in the corner is good. Monte Morris lays it in for 2. Naz Long would drive and get rejected, but it would fall out to Monte Morris for the corner 3. The Mountaineers would pull it within 10 in the second half, but that's about as close as it would get, and Nazmi Trulong was able to get one past his brother for the and one. The fans would cheer on Stu Neslick to make a late appearance. However, he would not score or even touch the ball late in this game. As the whistle sounded, the Cyclones would come out on top 73-55 and put them at 2-0 on the season. For ISU TV, I'm Paul Haddish.
The Clones will have until Sunday to prepare for their next regular season test as they ready themselves for one of the most efficient offenses in the nation in the Citadel. The Bulldogs dropped 146 points in their last game against Johnson University at home and have had the luxury of having sophomore Zain Nejdawi play out of his mind and start the season with 2 double-doubles, and he has no signs of stopping. We will see how the defense of Iowa State reacts to the high-octane offense of the Citadel on Sunday at 1, broadcast live on Cyclones TV. And the women's basketball team is in action right now as they're facing off against the in-state rival Northern Iowa. And the Panthers are always a tough test for the Cyclones early in the season, but Bill Fennelly and the company never shy away from a challenge. And our very own Andreas Afar is at Hilton Coliseum with an update on the game right now. Andreas?
The team is taking on UNI. The fourth quarter is just about to start. It's 54-47. Jada Buckley has played outstanding this evening. It has been tight, and the Cyclones have not given up the lead once yet tonight. But we'll see what happens with 10 minutes left to go in the game. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, 2016's sexiest man alive and former WWE star, has recently stated in an interview with Vanity Fair that he would not rule out running for president in 2020. In March of this year, he tweeted "maybe one day" and posted a picture on his Instagram this past June with a caption saying, "The idea of running for president to create a real positive impact and global change is very alluring." During his interview, Johnson said, "This past election shows that anything can happen."
As if we need another reason to love the One Tree Hill star Chad Michael Murray, fans will be glad to know that he has written an adventure thriller romance novel. Co-written with Heather Graham, the book is titled American Drifter and follows an American soldier who is backpacking through Rio de Janeiro. It was inspired from a dream Murray had that played out so vividly he decided to make it into a book. Fans will have to wait to read it though, because it doesn't come out until November 7th, 2017.
And that'll do it here for ISU's Newswatch.
Make sure to come back on Thursday when we'll have a full slate of shows, including the Cyclone Hockey Show, another Newswatch, and Ames Tonight.
And from all of us here at ISU TV, have a great night.